and welcome back to Aetheral Space 13.17, The Chicken Punk, Part 1.
Listen, I need you to heed my words. If you're a fan of Aetheral Space, if you have things you believe in, I need you to purchase Helldivers 2, and I need you to fight the automatons by our side. Okay? We fucking need help.
We're in a bunker right now. You hear, like, explosions outside.
We're in a bunker right now reading news from a galaxy away about Aetheral Space. But yeah, we're back with Aetheral Space 13.17, The Chicken Punk, Part 1. That's how you would read it, right?
Yeah, it's like The Dark Knight, it's The Chicken Punk.
Dude, I have to tell you, I think a part of it might be the autism, or maybe I'm just like not advanced humor-wise, but the line, "That was a chicken lie," I kept imagining in my head, right? It's like, sorry, that was a chicken lie. I still laugh about it. Like, out of nowhere at work, I'll just start laughing about it. I've been posting it to, like, all my friends. It's so fucking funny to me. I can't get it out of my head.
So badass.
It's like, how as a writer am I ever supposed to make anything that influential? You know what I mean? As, like, the context built up to Chicken Punk, where that makes it so funny that out of nowhere he's like, sorry, that was a chicken lie. That's what they said when Chicken Little talked about the sky. That's what they told him.
He apologised as well.
Yeah, he's like, sorry, that was a chicken lie.
They come out as the slaughterhouse.
Yeah, they fucking killed him. He died scared and alone. But anyway, we're not here about Chicken Little or about Helldivers. We're here to read some motherfucking Aetheral Space. Y'all ready for this?
Yeah. I'm doing my part.
6 years ago. Oh, fuck, what was his voice again?
It was like a calm guy like this.
So, Jean Lyons said, crossing his arms as he looked across the coffee table. Why is it you want to join the GID, Mr. Perrin? Eric Perrin blinked as he looked back at the director of the Galactic Intelligence Division. Many reasons battled for supremacy inside his mind. He knew that he couldn't say very many of them. I want to get rid of you. I want your job. I want control of the Galactic Intelligence Division. I want to be the one inside the shadows. I want to be the one who makes the decisions. Only one of his reasons was safe enough to say. I want to change things, he said. Is that his normal, not Chicken Punk voice?
Yeah.
Lyons smiled placidly, scrolling through his script with a pale finger. Well, he said calmly, your military service is certainly respectable. He paused, raising a curious eyebrow. It says here you tried to become a special officer. Made it all the way to the end of the exam, too. Not everyone is capable of that. You made it to the final group, and then suddenly conceded. Why is that? Eric clasped his hands together, sweat coating his palm. By that point, I'd already proven to myself that I could have become a special officer if I'd wanted to. Anything after that served no purpose, saving for drawing attention to myself. Should be save, yeah, there you go. And that's something you wanted to avoid? He nodded. I already knew this was the path I wanted to ultimately take. I felt that too much renown beforehand would be an obstacle here. Well, Lyons chuckled, putting the script down on the table before him. Your instincts are sharp enough in that regard. It's true. What I look for is skill without the fame that skill naturally accumulates. It's a rare resource. I'm very happy with what you've brought to me. Despite the tense atmosphere of Lyons' office, Eric found a grin coming to his face. Then, Lyons nodded, you want to change things, Very good. That's what we do. We reach into events, seize them where they are vulnerable, and turn them in whatever direction benefits the people of the supremacy. Is that what you're looking for? No, I don't want us to do that. I want to be the one. Eric nodded giddily. Yes, of course. Oh, that was a chicken lie as well. All he says are chicken lies. He can't be trusted. Then I think we'll do great things together, Mr. Perrin, Lyons said, extending a hand. Welcome to the GID. Eric eagerly accepted the handshake. It was freezing cold. Present day. Bang! Bang! Chicken Punk fired 2 shots directly at the head of the shepherdess, but as expected, no holes appeared in her skull. Some things were just too good to be true. Get up, he demanded, taking a step back. I'm not stupid enough to think that killed you. The shepherdess acquiesced, rising from the ruins of the fridge like a vampire emerging from its coffin. Her face was still concealed by the darkness, but if Punk looked carefully, he could see the bullets he'd fired. He could see them floating right in front of her forehead, frozen in the moment just before they made contact. She cocked her head. "Do you know what the most immutable force in the world is, Chicken Punk?" Chicken Punk narrowed his eyes. "You're gonna say the supremacy, right?" "Of course not," she giggled. "The supremacy's a grand endeavor, but it's still something made by people. If it was immutable, there'd be no need for me to run around putting out fires, right?" "That's what you think you do? Put out fires?" She ignored him as she continued. "No, the most immutable force in this world is time," she said, raising a hand. "No matter how powerful they are, everyone is trapped to it, locked on the same linear path from second to second, helpless. Escape exists for nobody." "Well," Pink Aether crackled, "nobody but me." Leaping back, Punk tapped his hand again, sending the signal to his men to fire. Glass exploded inwards as shots tore into the room. Each and every one was aimed for the shepherdess's vitals, and each and every one failed to make contact. They froze all around her. No, everything froze, right down to the tiniest fragments of glass. They hung in the air like glittering snow. And then, chronodissonance. They began to reverse. So, is time reversing for everyone in the whole universe?
No.
Interesting. So how does she only reverse time for a select group of people?
We'll find out.
Perhaps. It was like something out of a dream. The shot zoomed back in the direction they'd come, the glass windows reforming themselves as they left. The rubble of the kitchen reconstructed itself. The fridge unbuckled its dent with a screech, returning to its former shape. Even the fallen cereal and spilt milk flowed through the air, back into the reconstituted bowl. In the span of a few seconds, it was like the battle had never even started. The shepherdess's gaze had followed one of the plasma blasts as it had returned to the distant gun, and now a smile returned her lips. A smile turned her lips. 4 snipers in 4 locations, with you giving them the signal. You're very thorough. Unfortunately, I now understand how far away they are and what directions they're in. Once you're dead, I won't have much trouble hunting them down. Chicken Punk reloaded his pistol. You're getting ahead of yourself, Missy. Yes, I am. I alone have that privilege. Chronodissonance. Pink Aether coursed around the shepherdess's body as she moved, her speed beyond any ordinary Aether user, as if her body had suddenly been put into fast forward. Before Chicken Punk could even blink, he'd been struck in the chest, sent flying back into the living room. Before Chicken Punk could even land, he'd been kicked in the back, ricocheted towards the bedroom through an unconventional route. He smashed through the wall, landing in a heap atop the soft covers. Blood coated his face, already sinking into one eye. His heart hammered in his chest. Chronodissonance, huh? The gist of the ability was obvious. Once this woman infused an object with her Aether, she was able to manipulate the flow of time for it. She could rewind, like... Sorry, you made me lose my place there. She could rewind like she'd done to repair the room. She could pause like she'd done to stop the shots hitting her. Clearly, she could speed up as well, which she was using now to kick his ass. A scary ability, but not invincible. So long as she... Sorry. It's your fault. You write the fucking lines.
It's like a jump scare every time.
It's good. I'm not dissing it, but, like, I can't keep a serious tone every time. It's so good. Fuck. A scary ability, but not invincible. So long as you had chicken courage, nothing was invincible. Chicken Punk slid off the bed as he considered his next action. Aether wasn't capable of true time manipulation. If it were, the timeline would already be a mess, and everyone would be fucked. She talked a big game, but part of that would be a scare tactic. This was an Aether ability that simulated the effects of time manipulation without actually interfering with the laws of the universe. Still, though, the effects hurt like hell. Chicken Punk's whole body throbbed with pain. Even so, he'd been lucky. His body was too slow to react to the shepherdess's movement, but Aether moved at the speed of thought. He'd managed to at least mitigate the damage to his chest and his back, at least enough to prevent them from being shattered. Is this a sniper or Chicken Punk talking?
Sniper.
Eyes lost on target! The sniper's voice was calm over the communicator. Well, of course he was calm. He wasn't the one in the building with this woman. He wasn't in the best position right now, though. Injured against an opponent with unbelievable speed, with no idea where they were. A thought occurred, though. Why had the attack stopped? Why hadn't the shepherdess pursued and finished him off? Ah, I get it. She'd chosen the wrong room to throw him into. The doors on these bedrooms required a handprint to access, meaning that this hole in the wall was the only way in. Since there was only a single entrance, there was only one route the shepherdess could take to enter the room. That left her open to being intercepted. Since Chicken Punk had figured that out, it was a given that it was now an impossible strategy. If she was aware of that possibility, she'd use a different strategy. Punk leapt back onto the bed, feet sinking into the cozy mattress. He couldn't risk her punching through the floor and getting him by the legs. That shouldn't have been his concern. He was worried about getting her through the floor. He should have been worried about her getting rid of it. Pink aether sparked, and as it did, the floor of the bedroom crumbled away into dust. The contents of the room, including the bed and the punk, plummeted down into the lounge of the room below, crashing through a videograph and startling the two people who'd been watching it. A man and a woman, fairly young, fairly shocked at the chicken man in the chicken bed that had suddenly appeared before them. Why didn't you capitalize chicken man and chicken bed?
I will. Watch.
The man stood up, shock already becoming outrage. Who the hell are... Pink, something moving. Chicken Punk's eyes couldn't see it, but his chicken sense of movement told him death was approaching. Not for him, not yet, but for... Get out of here! Get out of here! Punk roared, suddenly desperate, but too late. As a shepherd's crook swung through the air twice, far too fast to see, and utterly destroyed two skulls. Oh, my throat hurts, Tan. Can you take over?
Sure. 2 years ago, so, Perrin said, looking down through the window at the coffin. He's really dead. John Lyons' corpse had finally been recovered from behind final church lines. Of course, the man who'd become John Lyons was long since dead on paper, and the final church couldn't very well find out what he'd been killed trying to do. So as far as they knew, he was some nameless casualty of the Civil War that had just vanished from the morgue. And here he was for all his trouble, a nameless corpse in a nameless coffin on a nameless star station, ready to be fired off into the darkness for his final rest. As far as the galaxy at large were concerned, these things didn't even exist. This wasn't even happening. Good riddance. Perrin clenched his fists as he glared dismissively at the coffin. Sorry, he didn't glare. He clenched his... That's what I said, actually. I said it right. It didn't take a genius to see what Lyons had become over his years of service. A man in love with his own ability to make the hard decisions. There was nothing that had brought him greater joy than to destroy someone else in the pursuit of his mission. Mr. Lyons, Perrin sent the ghost off. Go fuck yourself. He turned away from the window and began striding down the corridor, his blood already pumping with excitement. A smirk began to tug at his lips, and as he walked, he dragged his palm across the window, producing a pleasing squeal from the glass. Since he'd joined the GID, Eric Perrin had done his best to cultivate connections within the ranks. He wasn't alone in his wish anymore. He'd found people with the same ideology as his, people who wanted to see the supremacy move into the future, to see it become more than the bloodlust and brutality that had defined it for centuries. And now, with Lyons finally gone, it was time for the new director to be assigned. It was time for things to change.
Can I make a suggestion?
Okay.
And maybe it's not valid since he's still Eric Perrin, but perhaps it was time for things to change?
Wouldn't happen. He wouldn't say that.
It wouldn't happen?
No.
He wouldn't say that yet?
No.
What made him so chicken-themed, then?
Well,
What happened?
He's always been a chicken scurrum, but...
What changed his, mindset of chicken?
Perhaps we will see.
What's the difference between a lie and a chicken lie?
Perhaps we'll see.
Perhaps.
Georgian
Present
Biden,
day. Yeah. Present day. Chicken Punk's face twisted in anguish as he saw the corpses of the couple collapse to the floor, messily decapitated. You didn't have to kill them, he muttered. The shepherdess finally stopped moving. Black pumps gently landed atop the blood-stained couch, and their owner smiled down at him. She spun the crook in her hands. She'd clearly grabbed it from the kitchen upstairs before pursuing him here. He didn't know if that thing was an aether armament of some kind, but it was certainly strong enough to kill a person. Legends are strange things, the shepherdess said quietly, looking down at him. Once you can see them, you can touch them. Once you can touch them, you can make them bleed. And once that happens, they're not a legend anymore. So I'm afraid I can't permit true witnesses to exist. You're next. Okay? God, that's another thing I stole from you, doing the okay at the end with the question mark. I fucking love that. Chicken Punk narrowed his eyes behind his goggles, hot fury crawling over his brain. This really was her, wasn't it? This was the source of everything. I know who you are, he muttered. You already said that, the shepherdess replied. I know who you are, he repeated more forcefully. Once I had the power, I did everything I could to make the supremacy change. The shepherdess frowned, but Chicken Punk kept talking. I tried to lift up those who could lead us into the future. I tried to bring down those who were holding us back, those who abused their power, those who Those who we didn't need anymore. More than that, I stuck my hands into every event I could and tried to twist them forward. But nothing worked. Agents disappeared, files were lost. The people I thought would show us a new way, they died again and again. I started to think that I'd misjudged the world, that I was a fool. Well, the shepherdess smirked. You're certainly right about it. But I wasn't! Chicken Punk snarled, taking a step forward. Was I? The world had nothing to do with it. It wasn't circumstance bringing our efforts down. Someone was doing it. You were doing it. Like I said, she replied, putting out fires. It's not natural for a nation to remain so stagnant for so long. Punk raised his fists. We should have moved on centuries ago, but we can't we? You won't let us! He took a deep breath and finished. The supremacy is bound in shape by thick, heavy chains. That's all you are. You're old chains, and you've started to get rusty. That's 3 times you failed to kill me now. The shepherdess's smile dropped from her face. You can say what you like, but... Chicken Punk leapt forward with all his chicken speed, tackling the shepherdess, and as he did, he tapped his fingers against his palm 3 times fast. It was the prearranged signal, full fire, and forget about me! The shepherdess's ability, chronodissonance, required her to infuse an object with her aether before she could manipulate it. That was how she rewound damage, that was how she sped things up, and that was how she froze attacks. But infusion was first come, first served! If Chicken Punk infused the plasma blasts with his own aether as they came in, she couldn't do a damn thing about them. The only problem was that he'd need to be in the line of fire to do that. Oh well, these things happened. Punk squeezed his eyes shut, and the room was eaten by flames. Did you get these things happen from something? Because I know something that used that, and I'm just curious.
No.
I like that line too, but I heard it somewhere. Not that it's like, copied, obviously. Fucking everyone uses that, but I was just curious if it was an intentional homage. That was cool. I am invested. So what made Chicken Punk become so chicken-pilled?
We'll find out in the Chicken Punk Part 2.
What is the point of fun facts anymore? It's so over.
Well, you tell us, like, why did this character develop this way? Tell me that, please. Give me the Wikipedia entry, please.
No one's posting Aetheral questions anymore. I don't know what to ask. Okay. Fun fact. Tell me, I don't know, because all the questions that come to my mind are lore things I want to know. I'm struggling here. Okay. How many people are in the GID?
Less than you'd expect. There's like 1,000.
Oh. That's actually pretty small for, like, the entire galaxy.
Yeah, there's a big, like, sort of intelligence apparatus, but they're, like, the elites who make the things happen behind the scenes.
Why don't you tell me about the... So, assuming Chicken Punk's the director now, why don't you tell me about the director before John Lyons? What was he like?
The director before John Lyons, his name was,
Guy making up a character on the spot? Okay. What was Rufus Lightjoy's deal?
He was a big guy, had a big handlebar mustache. Well, no, like, mutton chops, sorry, more like.
So he was Armstrong?
No. And he was...
Or not Armstrong, what was his name? Masterson?
More corrupt in a different sense, rather than that I'm going to do it all control for myself. He was more corrupt in that I'm using my position to get money and hoes.
Based? Yeah. He's casually telling all the hoes that he's, like, the leader of the GID. Like fucking like, Archer.
Well, we have all your secrets here. Maybe, Minister, you will you give us some more budgets unless you want this to go awry.
Has there ever been someone in a position of power who wasn't corrupt, who was just like, no, I have a duty. Don't do it. Really?
He's not very corrupt.
Well, he was famous. He got to have his Chicken Punk identity. He used his connections for that, I assume. Unless the people wanted more Chicken Punk.
They needed. I became what they needed.
They're like, we love being fed chicken lies. God, I love him. Alright, well, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.